Hey guys, Sean Klinger with VitalMX, and today we are looking at Ride Engineering's lowering link for the 2020 CRF450L. We've had these links on some of our moto project bikes, and those links are definitely designed to lower the back end a little bit, but more help with handling and cornering, and really focused on that. Today is a dedicated test day to kind of see how this lowering link on this bike, how it affects the off-road riding. We have the stock bike with the stock link, the same bike as this, so we rode them back to back and really wanted to feel the difference. Now, this lowering link is more designed to lower the back end, not just for handling, but to get the seat height lower. I mean, for someone that's, I'm about 5'9", I'm kind of right middle of the road, having a little more ground clearance is always a good thing for me. If anyone's shorter, obviously there's other ways to lower a bike. You can shave the seat, you can get in the shock and actually put some spacers in there to lower that. The downsides to those is that, then you're augmenting the seat and you're gonna have less seat, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. Also, the shock itself is a lot of work, and you're actually losing your travel and your shock if you lower it that way. This lowering link is longer than the moto versions. It's on purpose to be 3.5 to 4 millimeters longer than stock, and that ends up being about 28 mil lower in the back. It's about an inch, and then with that, to balance it out, we raised the forks in the clamp about 8 millimeters to kind of balance it out. It doesn't sound like much on paper, but really being able to ride the stock bike with the stock link and this bike up the same trails that we're riding today, there was a few things that really stood out. For one, seat clearance. Getting my leg over the bike, super easy. I notice it's lower right away. That's easier to maneuver the bike. When we're shooting photos and kind of having to turn around on a tight trail, it's a lot easier to do there too. Another thing is traction. Having the lower rear end, we went up some really loose sections of this trail, and I did it on this bike first, and I made it up, I cleaned it. On the stock bike, I had some issues. It's just, it gets more traction with a lower rear end, and that really is a confidence booster, and it's good to feel. Another thing is a lower center of gravity. Not so much, there wasn't any like gnarly, 180s that we're doing out here, but the kind of tight little direction changes I noticed was a lot easier on the lowered bike, because you have a lower center of gravity, you lower, and the bike is just kind of leveled out and sucked down, and it's easier to just kind of make quick direction changes. And then another thing I noticed was going downhill, that some of the steep sections, I did it on both bikes. On the stock bike, with the rear end being that much higher, it puts a lot more weight on the fork on the front, and it's a little bit unwieldy, especially with these CRF450Ls. They're heavy. Having the lowering link going downhill, a lot easier. The back end just stays sucked down. I feel I can get farther back. I'm putting less weight on the front. It just made the whole thing a lot easier to manage. Another thing with this specific bike, we don't have any bags or anything on it now, but a lot of guys are throwing on baggage. They're kind of making a light adventure bike. The heavier these things get, the more unwieldy they get, and having the bike a lower center of gravity just helps with handling and turning the bike. We did do a few runs on the street as well, and I'm not a street bike guy, but being able to kind of feel the lean in and having a little bit more control on the street and the fire roads, big sweeping turns, a lower bike is better for that as well. So across the board, there's not really a downside. You're not losing suspension travel in the rear. If anything, your rear tire might kiss the fender a little bit more, but it's still the full amount of travel that your shock has. Overall, I think this is a really cool, really easy to add. We did it today, this morning. It's a very simple bolt-on product that can make your bike handle better and make it more comfortable for you, especially if you're a little bit shorter and you got a little bit bigger, heavier bike. So if you're on YouTube, please check out VitalMX.com. If you're on VitalMX, check out our YouTube channel. Hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.